question.
Without being criticized by anyone, what's your favorite team of all time for the Giants?
93.
Okay.
93.
All right.
Down.
That's your favorite team.
It's my 89 holds a special place in my heart because that was the first team I remember.
Yeah.
The 89 Giants that advanced to the World Series. I was six years old when that season started. I was 7 by the time the season ended. That was the first real year that I remember Giants baseball.
Okay.
I don't remember much about 87 when I was 4/5, so I don't remember much about the Cardinals, Giants, NLCS in 87, in which the Giants had a 3-2 lead going back to St. Louis for the last 2 games. Don't remember much of 88. Don't remember 88 at all, actually. But 89 was the first team I grew up to love with Kevin Mitchell and Will Clark and Kurt Manwaring and company. But 93 is a team.
Okay. Well, what about for the Niners?
Ooh. Favorite team with the Niners. It's going to be controversial.
I know which one it is for me.
2011 Niners for me.
That's the exact same thing. It's one of my favorite teams of all time.
No way. Seriously?
How could you not? It's one of the greatest.
I'm just asking them because they didn't win the Super Bowl. We saw the 94 Niners.
Team was amazing.
We saw 89 and 88, but 2011 to me, because watching Frank Gore, Willis, Staley, turned into winners and how much that season meant. So that's my favorite all-time Niner team.
And I would say the Warriors, for me, my favorite team was the 2016 team that didn't win it, even though I've never had more fun watching a team win. Every night was like the greatest show I'd ever seen.
73-9 team.
This is the greatest show I've ever seen in my life.
They went out like champs, even though they didn't win it. See, I wasn't devastated over that. I've told you this before. I've told you this before, and a lot of people laugh at me, and I just said, remember being there, watching that game, and walking around the locker rooms or whatnot, driving home from Oracle Arena, Father's Day of 2016. I'm such a history nerd when it comes to sports that I just said to myself in my Toyota Camry at the time, I just saw history. And I know my team was on the wrong side of it, but damn it, my team won 73-9 and pushed the Cavaliers to the brink, knowing that Iguodala was compromised, knowing there was no Andrew Bogut, knowing Harrison Barnes was on the milk carton, and knowing that Steph Curry was gutting it out with one knee. Steph Curry was like 60%. And he never used it as an excuse. That's what makes it, to me, that's why I elevate him, because he never used that knee as an excuse. He wasn't walking up to podiums with a cast on his wrist or whatnot. He was like, look, I'm on the court. We came up short. We'll wear it. And then, obviously, that pain dissipated when 2 weeks later you signed Kevin Durant. But that team, I was proud of that team.
Well, I guess where I'm going with this is that it's so funny how the way we talk about sports from a national media perspective and a local media perspective, and yet the reality is that it's deeper than yes, winning is what the ultimate goal is, and everyone wants to win, and it's very profitable for a variety of reasons. Winning it all, and we all want to win it all. Like it devastates me that Bonds never won a championship. I wanted to. That's my guy. It devastates me that Frank Gore and Patrick Willis didn't get that championship. I don't want to see this version of the Niners,
no doubt,
go through another run and not get that title.
You want to see Warner get that championship.
Of course, because it does feel like it validates everything. But where I'm going at with this is that we act like it's the end-all, be-all, that if you win, we'll automatically love you. And if you win enough, no matter what, it'll be interchangeable and you'll just buy in. And I was thinking so much about just like the strategies of teams in this crowded market that we're in. Just look around, like you're fighting with Apple Plus for time, Disney, and this. And now we have WNBA. There's a million different options for a busy person to try to, hey, I got to focus on something. If you're not tugging at my heartstrings, I'm probably out. And I think about that 2021 Giants team and how like a lot of the data people going back to the data, it's one of the greatest teams of all time. Nobody, if I said to Giants fan, list your favorite 5 teams in Giants history.
Nobody's bringing up 2021.
Nobody. And it's the most prolific in terms of wins that you'll find. And it was a fun season, but like in my life, it's not even close to a top 5 team.
93, 02. Even I was talking to Matt about this. I was talking to Matt about this. Bonds hit the 73 home runs. They didn't make the playoffs that season.
No.
Nobody ever brings that up.
No.
Nobody ever brings that up. So one, nobody brings it up because you had the star power in Barry Bonds and he hit the 73 home runs. And 2, they were entertaining. The reason why the 2021 team is going to fall flat is because, they had some entertaining moments, but the way they won with all the platooning, the bullpenning, you're coming down the stretch. Logan Webb was great. He popped in that NLDS against the Dodgers. I thought he held up very, very well. Logan Webb in those 2 games. Obviously, game 1, he was electric. Game 5, he got outlasted by Mookie Betts and company. Of course, Camilo Duvall gives up the single to Bellinger. But 2021, it almost brought us back. But then that all season, you lose Chris Bryant, and then you lose Buster Posey. He retires. And you don't replenish that well. And all of a sudden, you fall flat on your face. So, teams that we love, there's a lot of teams I love that didn't even win.
I agree.
That's why 93, I cried, and I still cry for that team. Every time I see D. Lewis, shout out to Darren Lewis. Every time I see D. Lewis, I think about, damn, he deserved one that year.
I know. And then you think of Solomon Thomas over Rigetti, all the different decisions that happened.
Torres, yeah.
So, I where I'm going at is that Willie Mays superseded all of the stats, all of the winning, everything. He tugged at your heart. And if I was running one of these pro teams, you got to win. We understand all that. But you got to also tug at my heartstrings. You just have to. It is an entertainment entity as well. And I don't know how you find those types of players. It's just so difficult, and it's so much easier said than done.
That's what's missing with the current Giants.
No question.
That's still one thing that's missing. And when you go to the yard, and I talk to everybody who goes to the yard, that Yankees series, the Yankees came out at the perfect time, I believe, because the Giants are coming off that fun road trip against Pittsburgh and the Mets. They're rallying and coming back from 3-run deficits, 4-run deficits, whatever it is, and they're coming back and winning in the late innings. You're like, wow, maybe this team is turning a quarter. And then the Yankees come in with their stars, Soto and Judge, and Stanton is an afterthought when it comes to stardom in New York right now. He's getting a little older. He's been battling injuries. But even Stanton would be the biggest star on this current Giants team. And they're like, oh, wow. That's what it's about right there. You can win. You can win these 4-3 games. You can do it in your style, but you better have something who could transcend. Or when I go to a yard and you see a guy, you're like, okay, that guy's great. I'm ready to go see him. There's not one player in the Giants. Ramos is playing well. He gave us a great interview, and we're going to track his stats post-morning roasting. Go ahead and do that, Lubbock.
0 for 8 in 2 games since coming on the roast.
So he's toast. The morning roast toast.
The morning roast toast. The morning roast jinx. Wow, 0 for 8 with how many strikeouts? How many strikeouts, Lubbock?
2 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Oh, boy.
So it's still salvageable.
He needs a big day at Rickwood. He needs a big day today at Rickwood.
So I look at the Warriors, and they have Curry, and he's the guy that's going to connect. So like building around Steph Curry or maintaining what you have or however you want to view it, like they're in a very good position because the emotional attachment to Curry is never going to dissipate.
No doubt.
It's never going to dissipate.
And he doesn't need another ring personally to validate anything.
Nothing.
He's got 4 rings, 4 NBA World Championships. He's 2 below Michael Jordan. Can you believe that? He's 1 behind Kobe and Duncan.
So
he's tied Shaq. He's got more than Larry Bird.
And I'm going to say something that's very controversial, but I want you to just hear me out. Hypothetically, if the Niners today removed Brock Purdy from the equation and brought in Kirk Cousins and they won the Super Bowl, I'm telling you, we'd be so happy that they won the Super Bowl, but I don't think there'd be the connection that because everyone's just winning the Super Bowl, getting some mercenary out of nowhere to just come in and play quarterback. If it's not Tom Brady's different because he's a local guy. I think it's different. I don't think it would hit the same.
Kirk Cousins.
I don't think it would hit the same at all. And I know that sounds absurd.
Nah,
there's a connection.
I'm going to tell you why I disagree with that. Because that connection would start a training camp. First of all, if you brought in Kirk Cousins, in this hypothetical, it would start a training camp where he gets to know the fans. He's out there slinging it. It's preseason. And then you go through that first month. And what if you go 3-1? You go 3-1 because there was a connection with Jimmy out of nowhere.
Yeah, but Jimmy
games.
Felt like ours because we found him. Like when we traded for him. Yeah. We prioritized him to be like. There's something about Brock right now with this fan base.
It's great.
They feel galvanized.
It does.
And I'm just saying, like, if you removed Brock and he wasn't a question, you brought in Kirk Cousins.
I think
there'd be a chunk of people that would be.
No, I disagree.
Pissed.
I disagree. Well, they'd be pissed originally about bringing in Kirk Cousins.
Well, that too.
But if you win, they'll be pissed about bringing in Kirk Cousins. But if they're rolling, and you get midway through the year, Kirk Cousins out there throwing the ball around and having MVP-like numbers like Brock, and he's doing it in his offense, and the Niners are winning, the Niner fans, Oh, they'll love Kirk Cousins.
Really?
And if he won, he would be elevated so high.
Oh, my goodness.
People will place him above Jeff Garcia. They place him above Jimmy Garoppolo. They place him above Colin Kaepernick, Alex Smith, you name it. Whoever wins the Super Bowl.
But wouldn't you be removing the journey of what we're going through with Brock Purdy currently? Like that would, I think, because I saw it with Alex Smith and Kaepernick was drafted by the Niners. There were a lot of Niner fans. Not that they were rooting against the Niners.
Kaepernick's jersey was like the number one seller jersey.
No, I know, but there were a lot of Niner fans like, oh, you got to get this job back to Alex.
Yeah, well, somewhat. And then Kaepernick came back for 17-0 against Atlanta. You get to the Super Bowl.
That's true.
And the big talking point after the Super Bowl is, why didn't you run the ball one time? That was the talking point. What was Harbaugh doing? You threw 3 straight passes, and remember, they would have ran the ball on second down, but the play clock was running down, and Harbaugh had to burn a timeout. And it was going to be a quarterback keeper. It was going to be Colin Kaepernick against Ray Lewis, 1-on-1, and the Niners were set up to score a touchdown on that play.
So you think because the Niners have had such a long drought, they're a little unique in this equation?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll
meet you in the middle.
Nobody would be scoffing at a word. It's been since 94, Shasky. Since the 90s. It's been 30 years.
I know.
All right?
Well, I got to look at the Lakers. Because the Lakers...
Kirk Cousins, Peyton Manning, insert quarterback name. Jimmy Garoppolo could come back and win a Super Bowl, and it'd be all good.
Yeah, but there's already a connection.
But let's take a random quarterback. Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I don't think it would hit the same as Brock Purdy, but that's a different question. That's a totally different question. Like I look at like the Lakers with LeBron. I know from Laker fans it doesn't hit the same. I know it doesn't.
Well, because it was so hard though because we couldn't go outside. Like we couldn't celebrate. I mean, although in LA they did during the pandemic, and there was a bunch of Lake fans outside breaking quarantine. But that was such a unique one. Had he done it in a regular year, it might have hit different because they were a really good team that year throughout the regular season. But that whole thing was so unique for everyone.
I believe if there's no pandemic and the Lakers win it, it hits. It hits.
There was no parade. They never got to have a parade.
They never have a parade. Exactly. No parade for LeBron. No parade.
So then the drought of the Niners kind of changes the equation. Okay.
I'm with 408 here on the Xfinity Mobile text line. I'm with 408 on the Xfinity Mobile text line. It's past that point the Niners just need to win the Super Bowl. Doesn't matter how or who plays quarterback. It doesn't matter. God bless me for saying this.
What are you going to say?
And we know he has a lot of baggage now. But the Niners, I don't want 408 here. They're so past the point of no return when it comes to a Super Bowl drought that Deshaun Watson could play quarterback and win a Super Bowl here. And people
my God.
And people will be losing their minds.
I'm just going to not comment on that.
No, you can comment on it. It's the truth. He's playing football.
I know.
He's not. He hasn't been. I didn't say I condone anything that he does. But I'm just making a point. I'm making a point, though, that it doesn't matter who plays quarterback. If you win a Super Bowl right now with the 49ers,
all right,
people are going to celebrate it like it's the one.
He'd be a legend in Cleveland. Are you kidding me? If the Cleveland Browns won the Super Bowl this year, he'd be up there with LeBron James. Now, that's not fair because of what LeBron actually means to that state. But that's what football's different.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, all right. Well,
there's not a Niner fan out there that if Deshaun Watson, and I hate using him
I was
for
going to
this
say
equation,
Phillip Rivers. So
but I'm telling you, go ahead.
No, the year that Brock got hurt. Let's say they find a way to miraculously win that game with Josh Johnson, okay? And then they sign Phillip Rivers for the Super Bowl, and they win the Super Bowl. That was going to happen. So, that's what their plan was.
Right. And if he went to Super Bowl,
it would have been the most absurd.
Yeah.
No,
it would have been absurd.
That's my favorite championship.
We're down there doing our show on the parade route, going crazy, losing our minds, and the Niners broke the drought. And we're talking about how remarkable the story is where Phillip Rivers goes from his trailer and all his kids to coming out and practicing during the Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl. He gets his ring. Shanahan gets elevated.
He's a Hall of Famer.
It's new. Shanahan gets elevated. All that stuff.
So, okay, the drought then changes the equation. Absolutely.